Hello there. I've had these for a little while. I found this sharpening set at Goodwill. Now the price on here is $10, but I think they gave it to me for $6, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't even know if this has ever been used. It's one of the cheap Amazon brands, Loveeta. It has a 400 and 1,000 grit stone, a 3,000 and 8,000 grit stone. It looks like a little holder, and this is flattening stone. I want to look at this and sharpen with it. Now, if you look, I've got some razor stones and some razors over here. I've been sharpening some razors. I'm not putting a razor on these stones because I already know that this is not a 400 and 1,008 or 3,000 or an 8,000. You're not getting that from these cheap stones. You can pretend that you are and convince yourself that you are all you want, but you're not. Okay, that's not happening. There's a reason they're as cheap as they are. Period. And we're going to try these. If I can get all this tape off of it, we're going to try this on chisels. On a chisel. And see. We're going to see. Alright, it didn't take near as long as I thought for them to absorb water. And I have already flattened this 400 that was out with this flattening stone. And it brought the stone into flat really fast. Just so that you can understand or see what I'm going to do, I'm going to take him on the 1,000 side. I'm going to draw some hash marks. And I'm going to take this stone. And work on this. Flat. And I can tell you that's flat from experience. Now I'm going to work the corners of this. Yeah. This is why I don't like water stones. Lucky for most things. That's why I use water stones in razor honing for bevel setting and things of that nature, because they are the most efficient way of doing that kind of work. But I do not. I'm old school. I prefer a good old-fashioned Arkansas stone and India or crystalline, a Norton oil stone. But we're going to try this right here. Is going to move out of there. That's bamboo. It'll be either work or it won't. We're going to take this chisel and we're going to hone on this stone. Let me see. Do I have a magic marker in here? I do not. But I got one here. So what I want to do is I want to see if this stone is abrading and if it will remove that. And it is. So I know that this is abrading steel. So now, can I raise a burr on this 400 grit stone? And the answer is yes. It's a very fine burr. And it's slow compared to even my oil stone. And I had a burr right here at this corner, but it's not really. And if you look, that's flipping incredibly soft. It's trying to raise a burr, but it's not really doing all that great. And I'm not using any kind of pressure whatsoever. But you see that it's turning into mud really fast. What does that tell you? And it won't, I can't get a burr to come, well, yeah, there's a burr on it, but it sure ain't much to speak of. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to go one more time. One more. All right. There's a burr on that, but it's almost infinitesimal. It's a fancy word for meaning so tiny you cannot tell it's there. So let's see if we can pull this burr off. I can't flip and find any hair to play with. This is what happens when you sharpen knives and razors and tools all the time. Alright, I achieved a burr, but that is not shaving in any kind of way. So that's a fail, in my opinion. But let's see what the 1000 grit side does. That feels like it has actual abrasive in it. That 400 grit felt like it was just a big block of mud. Okay. This is, you want to avoid the 400 stone. It isn't any good. This is already raising a very nice burr. Yeah, that's beautiful. All right. The edge is still not as keen as I would like. But it's shaving. It's not shaving too clean, but it's shaving. So I'm going to try that one more time. It's 60 strokes. There's a burr on it. Alright, what I'm doing is I'm trying to give this as fair an assessment as I can possibly give it. If we're going to do it, we're going to be fair about it. And it's shaven, but not very cleanly. So we're going to put that to the side. I don't know why it's not shaven as cleanly as it should. I did raise a burr. Possibly the quality of that burr is what's the problem. I'm going to go to the 3000 side. Normally I would go 1000 to like a black to like, well, normally I'd go to a medium Arkansas or a medium India and a black Arkansas because I use oil stones. But if I were using water stones, I would go from a 1000 to an 8000 or a 6000, whichever stone it was I had, and then I would strop, and that would be enough. This feels coarser than the 1000. and it's pulling a burr. In my opinion, just from the feel of this and the way that the stone is cutting, that is not a 3,000 grit stone by any stretch of the imagination. I know that this is my opinion, but you have to understand I don't have any scientific way of testing this. All I can do is give you my opinion based on my experience as a sharpener, and you can take that for what you think it's worth. But that's shaving a tiny bit better, but not much. So let's go to the $8,000 grit stone. Very coarse, very, very coarse. And that's raised an incredibly ugly, heavy burr. Does that look like an 8,000 grit polish to you right along that edge, that micro bevel that I put on there? Because that's what I did. I worked to a micro bevel in order to even get that. Okay. But all right. Does the edge of that chisel look like that's an 8,000 grit polish? That don't even look like 1,000 grit to me. So will it shave yet? Not very well. This is a fine India oil stone. This is Aldi chisel. It's mild steel or mildly hard. It's just simple steel. There's nothing. I think it's chrome manganese or something like that. Uh, it's not anything super hard or anything. This is a tool, basically a tool steel type thing. And so I couldn't even raise a burr on the 400. The 1,000 grit raised the burr, and so I'm going to do this now. And I stand when I do chisel sharpening because I would be standing at the workbench, and that is the way that I sharpen the chisel. So And I have a burr on that side. And we are there. And we're shaving like a skull today. Okay, so come down here and let's talk. I didn't buy these stones because I needed them, and I didn't buy these stones because I thought they were going to be comparable to the water stones and the other stones that I own. I bought this set of stones because they were cheap. It was a complete set, and the set is a set. Try to clean this out because I might be able to use this. Sorry. The reason that flattening stone flattened those stones so fast is because they're basically just mud. There's not a lot of actual abrasive material in these stones. They're mostly whatever they're binding it with, and it's a very soft binder. These stones are marketed for knife sharpeners, particularly for kitchen knife sharpeners, and they've got good reviews, and I can tell you pretty much why they have good reviews. Most people do not know what a sharp knife actually is, particularly people in the kitchen. The number of people's houses that I've gone through in my lifetime, okay, because I don't go to people's houses all the time, and saw them trying to use a kitchen knife, or I was trying to use their kitchen knife, none of them had a sharp edge on them. As a matter of fact, I sharpened a friend of mine's. I'm sorry, I didn't sharpen. I gave a friend of mine who's a hunter. He's an avid hunter and avid fisherman. He knows what sharp is. Okay, some old kitchen knives, and he came back to me and said, "Dude, those things are screaming sharp. I've never cut with a knife that sharp before." Most people don't understand what sharp is. And so you got a lot of people sharpening kitchen knives on these and going, wow, that knife's sharp. And they probably didn't even improve it a single bit. This does not, it cuts like one or two hairs. When I go to try to, that's what I mean by shaving. It's cutting off one or two hairs. Okay. When I sharpen a chisel or a knife or anything else, I have hairs jumping away from the edge of the blade, particularly on a straight razor. Okay, I'm not bragging. I'm just saying there's sharp and there's everything else. And so I gave these the best shot I possibly could, because I wanted to be absolutely fair, and I went above and beyond what I would do. I did 60, 70 passes on the 400. I did a couple of 40 passes on it. 40 passes on a medium India stone would raise a screaming burr and remove it, and then I would go to the Arkansas stone for 40 to 60 passes, and I would have a mirror polish on the blade, on the edge. Once I went to the strop, the thing would be screaming. Now I could take this to a strop, and I'm pretty sure if I did, it would cut hair just fine. The only problem is the strop is what made it do that, not the stones. So if you're considering buying these cheap stones, or you hear people online in the razor community and the knife community talking about how good these stones are, understand that most of these stones on Amazon, and if you frequent Amazon and buy the Chinese knockoff stuff like what this is, okay, any kind of that type of stuff, not just stones, but anything, what you'll find is that there's the same product that is sold by 10, 15, 20 different vendors with a different name on it, but it's the exact same thing. Right? So, in my opinion, this probably costs $40 or $30 for these two stones and that flattening stone and the base with these flipping whatever they think that's supposed to be or do. Okay. For knife sharpening, I could spend that $40 and get a combination India stone and take that. It would have a coarse and a fine India stone in combination on each side, just like these, and a pasted chromium oxide pasted or autosol pasted, or there's a number of pastes you could use, or diamond paste. But I could take that stone and a strop with some type of paste on it and get far superior results than this whole kit will give me. Far superior. So my verdict on this type of stone is that they're absolute garbage. And you're wasting your money. If you think that you're going to get an 8,000 grit stone, a 400, a 1,000, a 3,000, and an 8,000 grit stone, an actual those true grit ratings, you're fooling yourself, because that's not. Every last one of the higher grit stones felt grittier than the one that came before it. That's supposed to be less fine. So these are not worth fooling with. That's why I don't order stuff off of Amazon or anything like that, so I can do reviews. If I find something like this, then I'll do a review on it, because I want to kind of help inform my viewers, right? Steer clear of these. Buy one good stone and a strop, even if you don't put any paste on it and it's just a bare leather strop. Is way, way, way more capable than that, and much, much more quality than that. Just one simple stone. So, anyway, you can take that for what you want to, but I've got no reason to fake anything, and I've got no reason to lie about it or to puff other stones up or call these junk so you'll buy a more expensive stone, because I don't have any sponsors, and I never did and probably never will. And if I did, they would have to understand that if they give me something to review and it's junk, I'm going to tell everybody on my channel. And I'm telling you right now, these are freaking junk. Don't buy them.